because there's a no trespassing sign.
Okay.
You're breaking. Oh, a snake. Oh.
You okay?
Yeah, I just thought I almost ran him over.
The next day.
Dang! That is 2 days in a row that I've almost run over a snake. For some reason, they're out right now. So if there's one creature on this planet that is going to scare the crap out of me, it is the snake. Speaking of scaring the crap out of me, we are only weeks away from Unbound Gravel. I have been riding almost non-stop for the last 3 months. I've been reflecting a little bit about this, trying to, think about what have I actually accomplished in these last 3 months. I do feel like I'm fitter. I feel like I'm stronger. I feel like I'm faster than I have been in maybe 10 years. And I have reset my FTP to 295, which is 13 watts higher than where I started. So that is like a very positive change, but I'm not sure if it tells like the whole story. If I'm looking back and trying to sort of pick out what I think I've really actually improved on, I can think of 3 very important things. So one, probably the foundation, the aerobic engine. I do think I've really improved aerobically, and I'm not totally sure there's a great way to describe how that has improved, but I'm gonna try in just a second. Then 2, I'm gonna call it mental toughness or fortitude or grit or whatever you wanna call it. I do think I actually have really improved that aspect of myself. And then finally, my durability is significantly better. Through the sort of workouts I've been able to execute, I've kind of shown to myself that I am able to ride harder for longer than I ever have before. What I kind of want to walk through this week is a few of the workouts that I'm doing and how they might be representative of this sort of big change I've seen in myself. So back to last Monday. After that little run-in with the snake, my heart rate was absolutely spiked, which is not what I want on a day like today. I am doing a 90-minute Zone 2 endurance ride. Now these are kind of my bread and butter workout. Just Zone 2 endurance. It makes sense, right? For endurance sport, you want to do a lot of endurance work. Something I learned though when I started working with my coach is that focused Zone 2 work actually feels a little bit harder than I originally expected. Now, in my head, Zone 2 was always easy. It was just chill, cruising, you do a lot of it and you build your aerobic engine, right? But when my coach started giving me these Zone 2 sessions where I had to average a certain number over a certain period of time, it really kind of pushed me. My target originally, when I started working with Ricky a little over a year ago, was to hold around 180 to 190 watts for an hour to 90 minutes. And I actually struggled. My heart rate would be in the high 140s, which is the edge of my Zone 2 heart rate. And I was kind of humbled, honestly. I thought I was really aerobically fit. But when I was forced to try and hold a certain power number for an hour or longer, I realized I'm not as fit as I thought I was. And this is probably where I've made the biggest gains over the last year. Now, I do these sorts of workouts 2 to 3 times a week. Very often they're on Mondays and Fridays, or they're just scattered throughout the week, sort of separating my intensity days. And I just do them every single week. And I've been doing this for over a year, and the change is actually pretty big. This workout right here, I averaged 211 watts for 80 minutes, and I did it with my heart rate averaging about mid 130s, 136. This really is, to me, evidence of how much my aerobic engine has improved over the last year. This is not something that really has happened over the last 3 months, but over the last 3 months I've seen improvement too, because if you watch my first video, these workouts, I was trying to hold 203 watts for 80 minutes. And over the last 3 months, that has increased to me trying to hold anywhere from 210 to 212 in these sorts of 90-minute endurance rides. And that's like, it's less than 10 watts, but it's a big difference when you add it up over hours and hours and hours of riding. So this is probably the thing I am the most excited about going into Unbound, is just how much more aerobically fit I am. I've got another session just like this on Friday. I'm doing 2 this week. Back here again. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's nice. And then in between, I've got the really hard intensity sessions, the type of stuff where I've really had to work on my mental toughness. So here we are, it is Tuesday and I'm in my garage getting ready to ride the indoor trainer, because in Colorado, we just had the biggest snowstorm of the year, which is wild because it's May. If there's one thing I hate more than snakes, it's riding the indoor trainer. I think it is absolutely miserable, but it is a good opportunity to sort of work and test my mental fortitude. Now, I'm gonna have to do 2 sessions this week on the trainer because of the snow and the rain. You know, I'm also doing heat sessions, so it kind of works out because I can get super hot just riding in my garage for 1 to 2 hours. And the 2 sessions I have are a 3x15 threshold workout on Tuesday, and then on Thursday is a workout that I am absolutely dreading. Ricky scheduled 3x1 minute full gas efforts, and I am doing 3 sets of these. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on the threshold workout because it honestly wasn't too bad. I didn't struggle too much to sort of just nail these right on target. I did my heat session immediately after. It was basically 30 to 45 minutes riding in the paint suit. I covered this last week, so if you want to learn more about that, I talk about it there. I just get super sweaty, super hot, and then that's it. I really want to spend a little more time focusing on this Thursday workout where I do the 3x1 minute full gas efforts. Now, I really struggle with full gas efforts. In fact, in the second video I made in this little training vlog series, I did have a workout that had full gas efforts, and it is actually the only workout in the last 3 months that I have completely failed. I just blew up spectacularly. And those were only 30-second efforts. These efforts are gonna be twice as long. I have to do 3 in a row, and I have to do 3 sets of it. Pretty hard, definitely hurts. But what's really cool is I remember over the winter, this winter, I was given some 1 minute all out efforts, and I'd do like 2 and be totally gassed and not be able to do any more. So now, and those are like with long rests in between them. So it's really cool now that my fitness has improved enough that I can just stack these. I really don't think I'm someone who is naturally gifted at enduring pain, but somehow through training, I have just gotten so much better at it that I do think it's become one of my strengths. And I get through this workout and it kind of blows my mind that I can do this many full gas efforts in a row so close together. Ultimately, the biggest thing that has changed is I'm doing a lot more intensity now than I ever have in my life. And before I had a coach, I almost never did intensity. I didn't think it was that useful, especially for something like Unbound Gravel or endurance bike racing in general. But I am discovering that beyond like the implications intensity has for my ability to stick with groups or faster riders, it's had a really positive effect on my mindset and my ability to endure and suffer and just keep going when things get really hard. Before we go into my final key workout of the week, let's talk a little bit about what I did for the rest of the week. Wednesday was my recovery day. I did just this easy zone 1 cruise out in the snow. And then Saturday, I didn't really do anything. I went to the rock climbing gym, did a few routes, and then went home. My long ride on Sunday. I do my long ride every week on Sunday because that's when my mom is able to watch my kid, so I can like be away from the house for a long period of time. And this week, Ricky gave me a pretty stiff session. I'm going for 6 hours. During that 6 hours, I am gonna be on the gas the whole time. I'm gonna be doing 1 hour blocks of focused zone 2, very similar to the types of efforts I do in my endurance rides during the week. But in between these blocks of zone 2, I'm gonna be doing some threshold intervals. It's gonna be a 4x4 between the first 2 blocks, a 5x3 in the middle, and then a 6x2 between the last 2 blocks. The goal here is to test my durability, my ability to sustain my endurance power for a long period of time, in this case 6 hours, especially after I've had to do some punchy efforts in between those endurance blocks. So that opening hour I held around 210, I think. It was relatively easy. Now I'm looking at a set of threshold intervals. They're short, but they're gonna do a little bit of damage. Intervals are done. Straight back into an hour of endurance. About to hit the second set of threshold intervals. This endurance block was like 206, so a little lower, but still hard. Second threshold set down. I really had to focus on those last 3 to not drop them, even though they're so short. I'm definitely like starting to suffer a little bit. We're over halfway though. Keep going. Yo! Good. Hey Hannah.
Good seeing you out again. Ricky looks like he's putting you through the ringer.
Oh yeah. And I can't stop for long because I have to stay on.
What's up next?
Unbound, dude. It's in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah. Good luck.
I'm gonna try and set a PR, but who knows? It's always like a lot of it's luck.
Based on how much training you put in, I can't imagine you won't.
All right.
I'll let you get back to it. Always good seeing you out.
Yeah. I really had to focus just to keep it at the bottom of the range there. Last threshold set, let's do it. Well, that's it. Those intervals were only 2 minutes, but they felt about as hard as those 15-minute blocks I did on Tuesday. 1 more hour of endurance and I'm done. Good day. I think I held like 213 or 214 in that last block. Man, I feel so good. It's crazy. I like settled in and just started feeling better and better. I mean, I feel like I could do another set of threshold intervals right now. I'm not going to, but I don't think I've ever felt this good in my entire time I've been cycling. I did a 100-mile ride in under 6 hours by myself. To me, that's a pretty big deal. If I look back when I did the Unbound 100 for the first time in 2017, I finished just under 6 hours. And 2017 is kind of the year I look back at as like my prime. And I did that while riding in a fast pace line with other riders, so I didn't do it alone. I had help. It's really exciting. Now, let's say I'm right about all this. I am that much better. I'm significantly aerobically fitter. I am much tougher mentally. I am much more durable, able to dish out watts late. Does this mean I'm going to set a massive new Unbound PR this year? I mean, I hope so, but honestly, I have no clue. Unbound is a lot of luck. It's just unbelievably tough. It's unbelievably long. There's so much that can go wrong, but I do think I have done the things I need to do to give myself the best shot possible. So I'm really hoping things go well this year. I've still got a couple more weeks of training, including a very, very long ride. So I'll see you in the next one.